Good evening. Looks like a lot of people happy to be here. I'm very excited. Everybody here to hear the musical theater critic? You think I'm joking? One thing you're going to learn tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is that the guy that you're here to see, who is named Mark Steyn, is a disabuser of false notions. Most of you think you are here to hear a critic, an author, a commentator. Let me begin by just reviewing a little bit of his life, because I think one of the neat things about Mark Steyn is that his very existence is a thumb in the eye to conventional wisdom and to things that you thought you knew. Mark Steyn is from Toronto, and like any wise and intelligent person, he got out as quick as he could. And I mean as quick as he could, like 16. Unfortunately, he made the mistake of going east instead of south, so he wound up in London. He was back and forth between Canada and England a little bit. Now, can you imagine? You're leaving home as a teenager, bopping back and forth in, the great British Empire. What are you going to do with yourself? So this guy becomes lots of different things. Rock and roll DJ, classical music DJ, musical theater critic. See? He makes documentaries. He writes about opera. Opera. This guy lives in the woods in New Hampshire. He's a culture critic. I put opera, I like opera, nothing wrong with opera. I put it in the car when I'm taking the kids camping, So it gives them a little culture as we're about to go kill fish and stuff. So this is just a little bit about how cultured and how varied a background Mark Steyn has. This is the guy that you're going to hear from. Now, people will tell you, especially people who don't like Mark Steyn, say, hey, he's a conservative critic. That they're just sort of dismissing by saying conservative critic, as if that's something, that's something people shouldn't aspire to be, but as if that's belittling or demeaning, as if he just criticizes people. And that, I think, does Mark Steyn a great injustice. Sure, he's an author, best-selling author. By the way, those of you who are here holding copies of his latest book might be interested to know that it was just announced that it will debut at number 5 on the New York Times hardcover nonfiction list. Yeah. Pretty good for a conservative critic, huh? But Mark Steyn, once he bopped around and did his DJing and his theater criticism and his documentaries, somehow wound up being diverted into this life of what is, I think, dismissers will call a conservative critic or conservative commentator. They are also wrong. Again, his life, his work, proves them wrong. This guy's not a cultural critic or a conservative critic. He is, and I'm not exaggerating, a human rights activist. Now, some of you might laugh, right? Your idea of a human rights activist is somebody who might have dreadlocks, hasn't bathed for a couple of days, is holding a sign, protesting that we need to take money from the free societies and give it to dictators. I mean, that's what people who commonly associate human rights activists with, right? Well, Mark Steyn is in fact a human rights activist. His writing, his work, is dedicated to promoting liberty, to making people as free as they can be. And he doesn't just walk the walk. This is a guy who, in writing about issues of freedom, of oppression, was brought up on charges, maybe charges is too strong a word, was brought before the Canada Human Rights Commission and accused of bigotry. Because he said things about Muslims, he wrote things after 9/11 about Islam, about radical Islam, that some of the more sensitive people in the Islamic community, if you want to call it that, in Canada took offense to. So they took him before 3 different human rights commissions. Now, we in the United States might find this baffling because we enjoy the freedoms to be able to criticize and to call other people out when we think they're doing wrong. In Canada, they have a human rights code that says you're not allowed to talk about a group, a person or group, in a way that would subject it to hatred or ridicule or so forth. So this group said, hey, Mark Steyn is making people think bad things about Muslims, so they brought him up in front of 3 different human rights commissions. Of course, each time was thrown out. And this is what I love about Mark Steyn. When it was thrown out of the Canada Human Rights Commission, the big national one, and they said, look, nothing he said here really rose to the level of being something we can lock him up for or censor his writings for. Although in Canada, I think it's kind of frightening that there is such a thing as a Human Rights Commission that does have the power to, as the people who brought him up to the commission wanted to direct him in his publication and what to say. They tossed it out, and Steyn got mad and said, I wanted to lose. I wanted to lose so you would take it to court, a real court, with real laws, so we could put this notion to rest and we could free the people of Canada. That's the kind of person that Mark Steyn is. That's the kind of human rights activism that I think is so critical and so important today, and that you're about to hear a lot about. So with that, let's please welcome Mark Steyn.
Thank you very much, Drew. It's wonderful to be here in what the hell state are we in again, Drew? My state, New Hampshire. I hope he's sure about that. It's weird. I never recognized the bit with indoor plumbing. We were supposed to be getting that in my part of the state under the stimulus package, but it fell off the back of the truck somewhere up I-93, so we never did. He mentioned opera, Drew, in his introduction, and it's true. I used to introduce opera on the television a long time ago, and a neighbour of mine in up north who does sugaring, and the opera were coming. I notified him that the opera were making a rare appearance, some opera company, in Lebanon, New Hampshire. So he thinks, because he's like in the woods, he'd like to see what this opera thing is all about. And we get a couple of tickets, and he's on his way down there in his pickup truck with his wife, and he gets pulled over by the cop for speeding. And the guy asks for for license and registration. He opens the glove box, and 3 guns fall out. It's not in there. He pulls up the thing in the middle, and he pulls out another 5 or 6 guns. It's not license register. He says, I know it's around here somewhere. So he plows around the back seat, tossing, another 5 or 7 guns over on top of his wife. And eventually the cop gets bored and says, okay, forget it. Just bring it in to the police station in whatever it is, the next 7 days. By the way, where are you going in such a hurry? And he goes, to the opera. No, you laugh. It makes sense to pack heat at the opera. If you've ever been at a first night at La Scala in Milan, those arguments can get serious. I want to say something before we get going tonight. If you're from New Hampshire and you listen to me very, 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 very carefully, you may just hear a very, very faint trace of just a little smidgenet of a wee something in the accent that might lead you to believe that I'm not a Granite State native. I don't want you to worry about it. It's a malfunction in the sound system. We spent all afternoon trying to fix it. The engineers from St Anselm's worked on it non-stop, but it's some kind of miswiring. We couldn't do anything about it. But if you go home and you catch this speech when it's shown on your television,